Hi, I'm Emma, also known as the Naked Doula, and I'm here again with Nessa Organics. I love them, to talk to you about how to prepare and how to influence your birth experience. Now, I'm not just talking about one type of birth experience here, I'm talking about every single type of birth experience because you can influence it. And yes, I'm even talking about C-sections as well. And I'm going to give you my top tips on how to do this. Number one, the first thing we need to understand is what the hell is happening inside our body during labor. And this does also include needing to know this for a C-section as well. Now, the main hormone that's driving our labor is oxytocin. So if we understand how to influence oxytocin, we can then influence how we feel. We can then influence how our labor is progressing. We can influence how smooth our labor is going. And we can even influence blood loss, recovery, and the whole experience during a C-section. It's a fact. My second tip is all about the mind. The mind is a powerful tool and it's free. We have free access to these tools. And all we need to do is unpack the shit that's in there and actually fill it up with evidence-based information and positive affirmations, which are going to help us when it comes to our labor experience. So the best way to do this is start unpacking what is already in there. Inside your brain, we have a place called the hippocampus. I don't call it the hippocampus, I call it the brain library. It just sounds more relatable. So the brain library has all your memories, references, emotions all stored in little, you imagine all these millions of little dots and they're all connected. Beautiful. So inside of there is one special little dot called the birth file. Now, if we were to open our birth file, inside of there would be all the things that we think about when we think of childbirth. So maybe that is years of films and TV programs you may have watched. Maybe it's comments from your parents or things that you've learned as you've grown up. Maybe it's something to do with sex education, or it could be a previous traumatic experience. There's going to be lots of different things in there. Now, they may not all be negative. There may be some positives in there as well, which is super, super good. But we need to start working out what is in here and start breaking it down. So write it down and then start bringing to the table evidence-based information to actually neutralize things that you've written down. As you start to neutralize these things in your mind, you're able to then train your subconscious mind. So when you go into labor and your brain goes, oh my God, I'm in labor, it goes, doodle-doodle, goes to the brain library and it says, oh, you know what, it's fine. I know my shit and I'm organized and I'm prepared and I'm ready to take on this beautiful experience. Tip number 3, you need a birth plan. Oh no, she said it. I don't mean a rigid birth plan. I'm talking about birth preferences. By sitting down and actually looking at your options and looking at your preferences, you are educating yourself. Not only that, you're making it easier for yourself to be informed about what is available to you and what you can say no to, which is pretty much everything. So my 4th tip is all about environment, and environment is key. So preparing, understanding what we can do in our environment, which is anything we like. This is our birth. And this includes cesarean sections as well. Okay, so wherever we are giving birth, in the hospital, at home, in a theatre, wherever it is, we can influence our birth experience by changing our birth environment. So things like dimmed lighting, music, pictures, things that are going to spark memories in your mind. I like to call them brain buzzers. Things of sentimental value. These are amazing things to have close to us because they instantly take us back to a really good feeling and release oxytocin. Birth tip number 5 is don't just go with the flow. The flow doesn't help. The flow puts control into other people's hands. I want you to find the power inside of you and I want you to use that power to go forward with your birth experience. Knowledge is power. The more that we know and the more we understand, the more confident we can feel. And then the more confident we feel, the better we can influence our birth experience. So no matter which road your birth goes down, if you have been in control of that, if you've made those informed decisions and you've been aware of what's happening with your body and your options and that body autonomy, then at the end of that experience, you are going to feel like a goddess, no matter which road it took.